What's up, guys? This is T-12 Productions, and I just want to welcome you guys to the seventh day of the T-12 Days of Christmas. Today, I will be talking about which railroad does the Polar Express run on? Well, it's not more or less like a talk, it's just a question. You guys know. I also just want to give a huge shout out to Charlie Studios for letting me use his footage from the baseboard Polar Express video that he uploaded I don't remember when. But it's really good and go show him some love. And without any further ado, let's get on to this. So the Polar Express is a train that runs on Christmas Eve to children's houses. In hindsight, that does kind of sound creepy, but it's never really specified on what railroad the Polar Express runs for. In fact, there's really no number on the locomotive at all. So that really begs the question on what railroad this works for. Many people have offered their own personal takes. Lionel has offered the Polar Railroad, a fun play on the Pennsylvania Railroad, complete with Pensy Keystone. Someone on DeviantArt has said that it is the Reindeer Central, and has offered up some really good renditions of locomotives that could have been used. But this is possibly going to be the most controversial one, and I think it kind of makes sense in my opinion. The railroad that I feel like the Polar Express works for the most is North Pole Central. What? Bear with me on this one. This one kind of makes the most sense, as we have seen Berks on the North Pole Central. Lionel has produced North Pole Central Berks in O scale and HO scale, and this kind of fits in. Now, the rest of this is going to be headcanon, but bear with me, this is all just my opinion. The North Pole Central decides in the 1800s that a lot of people are no longer believing in Santa. So they start this new train that they have, this new idea for a train that they have called the Polar Express, as the train runs to the polar ice caps in the north. So the train makes only one run a year, that being on Christmas Eve. First being implied by small diminutive 440s, numbered 1225. And being that 1225 was the first engine used on the Polar Express, every engine used on the Polar Express will be numbered 1225. So, as we move on, they move on from Americans to 10-wheelers to Atlantics, Pacifics, and then they move on to Hudsons in the 30s. Now, the Hudsons had served well. In fact, this was in the height of the Art Deco era of the world. So they gave them so the engineers behind the Polar Express, who were responsible for the Polar Express in fact, took it upon themselves to see if streamlining would help. So they took the basis of a New York Central J3A Hudson and gave it a Henry Dreyfuss-esque streamline job. That proved to be a minor success and or failure. A success because it managed to cut the time off the trip north. A failure because a more increased need for styles. Being of the Art Deco era, it was kind of odd for a Dreyfuss Hudson to not be in a very eye-catching color. And they knew that. So they decided to paint it up in red and green. This proved to be a problem, as coal is very dirty. So the red and green would oftentimes get smothered in coal dust. So this kept on for another 10 years or so. Then in 1945, the North Pole Central caught wind of a new locomotive design coming from the States. So the North Pole Central has always admired the state designed steam locomotives, and this has become a standard norm for them. So when they caught wind of the new Pier Marquette N1 Berkshires, they quickly jumped onto it. Engines number 1220 to 1225 were built. 1220 to 1224 were built with the headlights outside of the smoke box door. 1225, the new Polar Express, had was an experiment. Well, they tried with a bigger bell and an inward-facing smoke and a headlight embedded in the smoke box door, along with a 19th century cowcatcher. As every Polar Express after Atlantic's had the had knuckle couplers added to the front of the locomotive. So this was a callback to the very first few runs with the Polar Express. This proved to be a success, a major success. However, the North Pole Central did not convert engines 1220 to 1224 to this style. And 1220 and Berkshire 1225 has been serving the North Pole Central ever since, with talks of with them debating back and forth for better engines. However, the Berkshire has been has a synonymous design, as it seems perfect for the Polar Express job. So, the Berkshire is still on the Polar Express to this very day. The North Pole Central has no plans of replacing the Berkshire for Northerns. Phew, that was a bit much for a analytical video for a fictional train, but it kind of gives me an idea to run with for my Polar Express models. Now, you guys can take this with a grain of salt. I mean, it's your take. I'm not here to judge. If you guys agree with me, tell me if you guys do in the comment section. But once again, huge shout out to Charlie Studios for letting me use his baseboard Polar Express footage. He is currently uploading a new video every day until Christmas, just like how I am, showcasing the building process for this magnificent route. And like always, this has been T-12 Productions. I will see you guys tomorrow.